Yo, if you thought the McCrispy was bussin', hold up. Bacon and Ranch have entered the chat. Say hello to the Bacon Ranch McCrispy. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. At participating McDonald's, limited time only.
All right. Goddamn.
Don't OD today.
If I say something really cool, can I?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Or is that like secret territory?
It's the only reason why it's here.
Yeah, like I don't like. Sometimes people don't want you touching their own soundboard, so I have to respect it. You know?
If you really feel something, like if you really feel like if you really feel like you slam dunk something, lime green button.
Yeah, perfect. Right. Love it.
What's poppin', people? Welcome back to Say Less with KAZ, me.
Yo, it's slow.
And this is not Rosy. I'm sorry, guys.
A less cooler replacement.
A very much lesser cooler replacement. I'm just kidding, guys. Hoodie Allen's here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Gosh, full circle moment for Jake. So, like, apparently, for Jake. You know, I'm just kidding. Me and Hoodie go back for years. Back in my music writing days, and Jake was like, "Hey, man, like, did you ever have Hoodie on a podcast?" I was like, "What? I have Hoodie on a podcast?" I feel like he's my Jet confidant on Twitter and Nick confidant. So no, I feel like, yeah, absolutely. But even more than that, it's great to have you on here, especially, you know, I think it was like 10 years ago that we did. Oh God, were we doing Stashed right back then? And
I remember Stashed.
Oh man,
Stash was a
good time,
hell of a time.
Good times.
The craziest thing is, I think this, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might be the second time that we've actually hung out.
Yeah,
but you're like the epitome, and I mean this in like the best way, of like a Twitter friend, like an online friend, because I think I interact with you on a weekly basis.
This is an actual fact. Like we haven't seen each other in real life, but we interact so much on Twitter.
When was the last time y'all saw each other? Outside of this,
it literally might be 9 years ago.
What?
It might be that interview.
But,
okay.
But that's what wild.
I would have thought y'all was at dinner yesterday.
You would think so,
right?
But when you're a Knicks fan or a Jets fan, especially
the pain and the stress brings you together.
100%.
The pain,
suffering.
Yeah,
the suffering.
Yeah, I get it.
So it's a weird week for us, right? Yeah. Like when the games are on, especially football games or basketball games, my Knicks and my Jets are on. I get in front of a TV, I throw on my phone, and not only do I watch the game, I like to watch the reactions of most of the folks that are watching. Right. And Hoodie's one of the guys that I always, you know, we find to interact with.
I'm in the replies.
Like, always in the replies.
Yeah.
Nice. It's been a weird week for us because we're not used to like prosperity. Right?
So you're pretty much about to say we're not used to having nice things.
We're not used to like things being like, oh, like this actually might turn out okay for you guys. For what? Like we are like Knicks. There's a specific type of New York fan, right?
It's so good that he's at a loss for words, and he's never at a loss for words when it comes to the Knicks.
Listen, I gotta break it down for people because like you gotta be a specific type of New York fan, right? Most New York fans, most regular New York fans are what? Giants fans, Yankee fans, Knicks fans, right? It's like a specific combination.
There's some Mets fans in there,
right? Like here or there, but like Mets fans usually tend to be Jets fans for some reason.
I don't
like Nets fans tend to be Jets fans. Like the B team of
the little step brother situation.
Brother,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
But those weird New Yorkers that are Knicks and Jets fans.
That's you. That's y'all too.
That's us too.
That's y'all too. Okay.
We love being miserable. We love the pain.
It is like a Chicago Cubs level of misery that you got to put all of your cold weather months into.
Right.
to root for both the Knicks and the Jets.
This is like an interesting, convo because it's like the Jets have embarrassed and have just made New York Jets fans look like they're crazy.
Okay, yeah.
For staying there.
Properly context this before you go in, please.
What I'm saying is I'm just pretty much talking about the loyalty.
Okay.
And the pain and strife that y'all deal with day in and day out. It's like a bad relationship that one day you hope that person will get their shit together.
Yeah, because you've already given up hope on leaving.
Yes.
Right? Like,
It's like, I'm stuck.
You already like told him like, listen, I ain't going nowhere. Like, we just got to figure this thing out.
Just
right?
one day I hope I wake up and your shit is together.
Like, if you didn't leave during the KD and Kyrie years, you're not going anywhere. Right. Like, that was the perfect, like, the stretch between KD and Kyrie choosing Brooklyn, trading away Porzingis, like those months were like
not acquiring Donovan Mitchell.
I have some insider info on that KD thing as well.
Okay, all right.
That's so old history now, but
I mean now it's. I think the statute of limitations of that is pretty up now. So you could he's 2 teams away now, so we should be.
He's on a different coast. So I think everything's good.
Yeah. Well, I had a friend who like designs jewelry.
Okay.
And so like she was one of the only like females who were like really rising up in like the jewelry New York City world thing. Okay. And she was for some rappers and some events and stuff. And the Knicks had contacted her to make something for Kevin Durant.
Oh wow!
In that whole like time where it was,
wait, was that like
that courtship was happening?
Okay, that was a courting thing.
Okay,
I mean, because it seemed like it was like the deal was sealed.
That's what I was about to say. Like, was that like a present that was about to be gifted, and then he changed his mind?
That was my impression. I got the sense that I wasn't supposed to probably even be speaking about it now. But
did she tell you what the jewelry looked like? What
no.
was
yeah, okay. See, that's the key point.
Like, is there like a KD?
There's probably a mock-up somewhere.
It's like a Knicks symbol and number 7 in the middle.
Or 35.
Or 35. 7 to 35.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then that deal was sealed.
I mean.
And because remember when the news came out, it was all about how like Dolan wasn't going to give him a guaranteed
right.
whatever. So I think like legitimately that it was like, oh, it's a wrap. And then he got a little interjected and it messed it up.
It was dark times.
You guys are very, very, keen on these kind of conversations. Are we gonna get in trouble for this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Because I do this with the music shit, so, right? And I know what happens.
I know how to avoid the landmines at this point. So it's like, all right,
like you said, he's in Phoenix. People in Phoenix, they don't watch podcasts.
They're fine. It's okay. But we say all that to say, what a time to be a Knicks fan right now.
Yeah.
Like I was
front, man.
I did a lot of shows this week with PointsBet and MSG and all this other stuff. And it's just like, I can't remember another time in my adult life that I felt this good about. Like, there have been good teams that I felt good about, but I can't remember being an adult feeling this good.
Is it how they look and the promising future that's in front of us? Is it just the win streak? Is it the hope for the postseason and what that looks like? Like, what is it really for you guys now?
Well, obviously winning,
or even just this week.
No, winning cures everything, obviously. But I think this is different, and I think Knicks fans feel like even more like hype about this one because this one doesn't feel fugazi.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
okay.
This is all like, trust the process, right? Yeah. Like all the guys that they drafted, that they signed off of like kind of
those full circle moments.
Yeah, like nobody came to the New York signed with like massive expectations, like outside of Brunson, right?
Sure.
And even then, he smashed all those expectations, right? Same thing with Randall. You drafted quickly. He has his coming out party on national TV in one of the biggest games of the year, you know what I mean? And on top of that, like, they're fun to watch. Like,
Randall's playing very well.
And every Knicks fan I know doesn't feel comfortable when like national media is talking good about the Knicks.
Yeah, because at some point, the tide's gonna turn.
Not even the tide turning, but like we're just so scarred from the Knicks, but you know what I'm saying? Like
it's like going back to the relationship comparison. It's like you come home and your significant other has dinner cooked, and it's just like what. Wait, like dinner's cooked, like the house is clean, like your favorite show is on, like it's right there in front of you when you walk in. Like, let me get your shoes. How was your day? And you're like, I don't.
There's something missing.
Yeah, something missing. You need to fuck up something real quick.
I mean, that's the thing. Like,
I get it.
Everything that everybody has ever told me about the Knicks is like, oh man, their coach is Knicks are gonna nick, like something's gonna go wrong. But as far as I can tell, this season
It's going right.
I think personally they're playing with house money at this point, right? Like I don't know. This is about like what a month left in the season.
We got about 16, 17 more games left.
It would take something disastrous to happen for
like
us,
an injury,
for me to look like even an injury, but like injuries happen.
Wait, this comes out on the 17th. Cue something disastrous.
Don't manifest
Don't say
it.
that.
Yeah.
A few weeks later.
I'm not trying to manifest it, but it's it feels like outside of something disastrous happening, like I can still feel good about the team, not just now, but going forward. Right?
Well, and that's what I was asking. Like going forward, it looks like you guys have a promising future, not just for the rest of the season, but for years to come. So that's pretty dope. Also, shout out to Ashley Nicole. She's been going hard, like every game, going hard.
I'm athlete Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley Nicole.
Ashley Nicole. Yeah, she's been killing it.
Girl, and killing on I'm athlete, but she's on niggas' necks.
Because
she's on.
Let me tell you, man.
Necks.
Let me tell you, man. Like, you have so much. It's been the first time, like I said, in my adult life where I can like confidently talk shit about my team. Right?
Yeah.
Like
the last time you did that was last year, and they. At the beginning of the season, they went 5-0.
But even that last year now is starting to feel like maybe that was the aberration.
Right.
Like maybe that was the hiccup year. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really think about it.
I'm still not comfortable.
You're still not comfortable. No. You still think like the ground's going to fall out from underneath
Deep down inside you are too. Deep down inside you're not comfortable yet.
We're comfortable in accepting that something bad is about to happen.
Right.
Like the closest confidence I have is like being a promising team. Like you said, like that feels good.
I think that's more important.
Yeah.
I think that for you guys, that's more important because this team looks like it could have a lot of legs going into next season. But I want to see what does this look like for the postseason for you guys.
But what makes it more fun is that like, and I brought this all up for a reason. The reason why I brought this up is like,
Jake,
enjoying the Knicks as an adult is so, it's like everybody's always like, we're 80s-ish babies, right? All of us. Like everybody always romanticized, oh man, the 90s was so much better and and like, and just in everything, in music and clothes and TV shows, everybody romanticized the 90s so much. And people our own age romanticized the 90s so much. And it was a beautiful time. But I'm just sitting here just like enjoying a good Knicks team for the first time as an adult. And I'm just like, yo, see, there's no fucking possible way I can truly believe that the 90s were better. I was 9 years old, right?
No, like,
why can't I enjoy right now? Why can't
I will say because
who's to say that this won't hit differently in 20 years like the 90s?
You're absolutely right. People. But like my father was a die-hard Knicks fan, just like I'm a die-hard Giants fan. So I would see them every year get beat by the Bulls, always get to the conference finals and just fall flat on their face because the season was so good.
It's Michael Jordan, bro.
I know.
It's like, hey, man.
It's like, what can you do?
If the GOAT was standing in front of your way, like, you still feel good. Like, that's why Knicks fans have so much pride about their team now because it's like, yo, man, like
the last time it was like this,
we went head up with the GOAT a bunch of times. Now I'm saying it happens, but like, we understand.
But that's why I always give the Knicks hell because they gave my father hell. Like back to your point about enjoying the Knicks as an adult.
Can you enjoy them as an adult now though?
No, fuck them.
Why?
Because my father never got to see them win a championship. Well, no, one, the 1973, I believe.
Who's to say this year isn't that year?
His heart is not. His heart is not in it. Hold on. His heart is not in it like it was.
Who's to say?
No one's to say.
Who's to say?
I'm going off.
It's the 50th anniversary of the 1973 NBA championship team.
Now you put a lot.
Do you believe in the stars?
You put a lot of. Now
do you believe in the stars aligning?
This is why y'all get this.
Do you believe?
This is why y'all get disappointed.
When your son.
This is why y'all get let down. This is why y'all hearts are so heavy.
Your son to become the most improved player in the league.
I'm not here.
When Emmanuel quickly was on the trade block and then about to become sixth man of the year.
See, this is what happens.
You see?
This is what happens with Knicks fans.
When Julius Randle, go ahead. When Julius Randle was, everybody wanted Julius Randle out of here.
I was trying to
for a ham sandwich.
I was trying to give the Knicks props.
Mitchell Robinson comes back.
I was trying to be lenient. I was trying to be, compassionate. I was trying to be empathetic.
In a row.
because he wants to be a dick, they're not making it out of the first round.
I don't care if
That's
they
probably
lose.
true.
I don't care if they lose 5 games after this. Listen, I don't care if they lose in the first round. I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be disappointed.
Yeah, of course.
But I definitely I wouldn't. It wouldn't make me feel any less good about where this team is going and the franchise.
That's why I said. And
What
that's,
about RJ?
That's what I said.
RJ. RJ's 22, 21. He'll be all right. Everybody's so hard on RJ just because
Still
he's
21.
He's only 21.
He just turned 21, 22. He's very young.
How many years he's in?
His 4th year in the league, man. He came out of Duke as a freshman. He's 22?
Drafted before.
What happened?
Zion, Ja.
Yeah.
Wait, how old was he when he got drafted?
Hey.
How old was when he got drafted?
He was a
18?
freshman. Yeah, 1 year out of Duke.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They're young, man. Like everybody's
really young.
And on top of that, like it's hard to be a third option on a good basketball team. Like, and he's learning that. Like, obviously Brunson didn't play the past couple of games, played well, whatever. But being a third option's hard. Look at Kevin Love, look at Chris Bosh, 2 of the greatest players we've ever seen. You go to a team where you got to be the third option. They were veteran all-stars at that point. It's a hard thing to do. Give the kid a break.
They're also. He's 21. He has so many fucking years. So he'll be fine.
I'm so glad he brought up RJ Barrett because we got to talk about that draft class, right? Like, look at that draft
Who else
class.
is in that draft class outside of the top 3?
Do you know who that outside of? Darius Garland.
Okay, he's great.
Tyler Hero.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's all right. Those are the top 5 on that jumps out of me immediately. But
Basketball's weird. Like people, like first round picks aren't really.
they're not hitting like they used to.
Yeah, they don't really
right?
get like a career necessarily.
The Zion thing
Basketball's tough.
bums me the most, right? Because it's like you kind of see how he was sort of like this thing we never saw before. And like everything tells you like this doesn't make sense. And it doesn't. Like his body shouldn't be that big and that explosive. And it's like, you know, it just doesn't. That's why he can't stay healthy.
I mean, it looks like he's just not taking care of his body.
I mean, some people's genes are just different than others.
No, yeah,
man.
I mean,
Like,
I'm not blaming him, like, but it's just like, how do you take care of that?
I'm sure he tries, but like the fact that he's 6'5" and built like a Hummer.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Like, and could jump out the gym. Like your legs could only take so much. You know what I mean? So
Might be
get-
time for a career switch.
It's hey man, listen. I would have put a football in his hand as a kid, but that's just me.
I'll put one right now.
That's just me.
Aaron Donald.
Right there you go. But the second pick in that draft is interesting. John Morant.
But I feel like I've like not really been in the news cycle for this. I saw an
So-
Instagram story and I don't know what's happened after that.
I'll put you.
That was a good segue.
I'll put you. This is a great segue.
That was a great segue.
I gotta give you some good before I get into some bad. So hoodie, I'll put you on game.
I tuned it out, kind of.
You know the initial thing that happened, though, right?
Early in January.
He had a gun on his Instagram story. Is that the initial thing, or is there something before that?
So here's what happened.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. But there are things prior to that.
No, I don't know anything.
So around January, the Atlantic like dropped a story saying like, yo, there was like some questionable instances with like John Morant and like his like the people that he's with one time after Indiana Pacer game, and obviously we all saw what happened with Shannon Sharp on the at the Laker game before that, and apparently there was.
But that wasn't really with him.
But it was
That was
just
his father.
it was just you know Memphis Grizzlies whatever.
Okay.
But the story focused on something that happened after the Indiana Pacers game where there was an altercation on the court, and a security from the Indiana Pacers says there was like a laser coming from like Morant's camp, whether it was I don't think it was the team bus or whatever.
I think they were in the car. They were like, it was a caravan
And the
of
security
trucks.
guard was like, "That's 1,000% a gun. Like it's not, you know, a
It was
laser
aimed
pointer."
at the Pacers team bus.
And then there was another part of that story where allegedly John Morant's mom had called him and said somebody at a Foot Locker was bothering him, and like I guess he like got into a fight with some kid, or was about to get in a fight with some kid and had like a gun on his like waistband or whatever. And then
The pickup basketball game where he
there was a pickup basketball game where allegedly he got into a fight with
Punched
the
the kid in the face, yeah.
And you know there was a lawsuit or something pending with that. And then this past weekend, it was early Saturday morning.
Right,
we go on Instagram Live. I want to say this is right after they got mollywopped by the Denver Nuggets, by the way.
and so they're in a strip club.
And then a strip club in Denver with his shirt off.
That's how you should be in a
with
strip
the-
club.
I mean, that's
You know,
Protocol.
if Jokic gives me the work, I'm taking my shirt off for sure. Yeah.
I don't know who's I don't know what hey listen, I'm not gonna judge anybody who goes to strip clubs to release some stress.
I don't really like strip
I would probably just keep my shirt on and not have a gun on me. Like that's probably what I would do. But I don't know, man. It's It's such an interesting topic though, because it's like,
Is he suspended right now?
so he's suspended for 2 games, right?
Because of
Well, no,
So
he's
here's the
suspended
thing.
indefinitely.
So here's the thing. The NBA initially suspended him for 2 games. The Memphis Grizzlies suspended him indefinitely. Now the NBA and the state of Colorado and all these people are investigating
CAB or something like that. Whatever.
if he had the gun on the team bus, if he traveled with the gun, if he had a license for it. Like now they're like trying to, see everything. So
They're
if
trying
he
to
had the-
determine
if he-
where the gun came from.
If he had the gun on the team bus, he's suspended 50 games automatically. Is
So
what
he's
the
out for
rule
the
is.
he's out for the rest of the season
And then
a
some.
good quarter of the first season.
Right, that's the Gilbert Arenas like
Yeah, I was gonna say, same thing with Arenas.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then there's the whole was the gun registered to him? Like is he
licensed to carry?
Is he licensed to carry? I don't. Also, there's different gun laws in Denver than there is in
Memphis,
wherever he
so,
might have
yeah.
had it registered. So now it's just opened up such a can of worms
Yeah.
over something that was just so stupid. Like as far as like just going
Then-
on IG Live.
Then what does Memphis do with him?
Now, exactly. And then now the whole, they're in second place in the Western Conference right now. Like they're right in the thick
Yeah, they're
of
great.
They're in the thick
they're a
of it.
great team, yeah. And on top of that, they don't play terribly without him. You know what I'm saying? And there's the whole story with Steven Adams, who allegedly there was like a
Team
players
meeting.
only
Players
meeting.
only, yeah.
he punched a kangaroo, or what did he do?
There was a players only meeting when Steven Adams was basically like, yo, like we got to stop bugging out. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's basically just like, when we're on the road, we have a terrible road record. Stop going out when you're out of town. You know what I mean? And like, let's get serious. Like, we got some, there's people on the team that's doing too much outside the court shit. And everyone has took that to say that was John Morant. And allegedly that players only meeting happened the day before, the same day that he
shit.
goes.
He
on
went out
IG Live.
anyway.
He went out anyway that night. So. There's a whole mess of conversation to have about that as far as that's concerned. Now you got people who, and mind you, this is John Morant. He's the face of the NBA. You know what I'm saying? He's just Nike's new signature athlete. You know what I'm saying? Power. I mean, this dude he's the kids. I'm talking about just as far as like influence on children.
Oh, yeah,
He's there.
they
He's
love him.
there.
Yeah.
It's Curry and then like him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not even so much Bron anymore. Bron's almost like the super OG for the
LaMelo.
kids, like LaMelo
Yeah.
Ball,
Luka,
like
Ja.
those Luca,
Yeah.
Ja, those guys are like, they're the faces of the game.
Right.
Sure,
You know
the
what I'm
next
saying?
10 years, easy.
It's almost like, and I've seen a lot of people tweeting this. It was like, yo, this was what David Stern thought Allen Iverson was right? Like
Fair.
all the stuff that he was like trying to prevent, and
Yeah.
like how heavy-handed he was with all these in suspensions and just being we've all saw the video of Carmelo Anthony that went viral where he's basically like, yo, we know where you're at, we know what your friends do, we know what they do, and you got 2 choices: either get away from them or, you know what I'm saying, like
X, Y, and Z. Like it's
we're paying you $100 million to do this. Like we got
Yeah.
people everywhere. Like stop fucking around.
I mean, I was having this conversation last night. Like I'll never know. I mean, maybe one day I hope, but I'll never know what it feels like to have.
It's not as cut and dry as so many people has made it
Right.
seem.
Like I'll never know what it feels like to have 200 million plus at my disposal at the age of 23, having all the attention, but yet still dealing with the outside shit that we have no idea what's going on in this.
Yeah.
And again, let me paraphrase this. I'm not giving this nigga a pass. I'm not making excuses. I'm just giving the other side of the pillow that's not really being talked about. Yeah. It's like you gotta think like, whatever he's dealing with or whatever he's going through or whatever experiences that we're not witnessing is really taking a lot of leverage away from where he can go. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, whether it's family shit, whether it's, the people around you, whether it's personal demons, whether it's just guilt or whatever it is, it's now overflowing into his everyday mannerisms and his actions. Like you see on IG Live, like they're posting clips on Twitter about how much he drinks. Like it looks like it's water. He's drinking tequila just straight out the bottle for like 5 to 10 seconds. So clearly there's something going on with abuse, right? There's something going on with that kind of shit. And I think what we saw this past weekend was the pinnacle of something has to give. Yeah. And unfortunately enough, him having that gun in the strip club did not end in a different manner.
So here's why that I understand where you're coming from with that, but what makes it hard for me to sort of fathom with him is like, it just screams out somebody who's just like hella misguided, right? Like, even if, like, the one question that the thing that was the conversation that was going around, and I'm like, oh, you come from a good home. You don't come from this. Like, why are you doing all that? I'm like, yo, you don't know what he's around.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know what happens when cameras aren't on. Like, we see one picture of him in the backyard and two parents. Everyone's like, look at this guy and this great uplifting. I'm like, did you see the picture? Like that little strip of grass that looks like it hasn't been watered in 3 years. Like
They could have been co-parenting.
Nobody knows. The
Yeah.
entire world made an assumption off of somebody's life and their upbringing, given off of a picture and the fact that he's really good at basketball.
He had a collar shirt on with some loafers, and everybody thought that he was just squeaky clean.
So
and it's usually the ones like that.
But that's my thing, right? Like, even I'm not gonna even like blame him for, you know, still wanting to take care of those people that he grew up around.
As he should.
But the thing that I have an issue with is that, like, somebody who has his ear or more wisdom than he does, and obviously all the NBA OGs have come in and like given their support, not just probably to him personally.
I hope it's privately as well.
Socially, you know what I'm saying? They put on Instagram or whatever. But it's like, that's a failing of the OGs around him to be like, yo, you are worth $200 million, bro. Why in the fuck did you hit live on your Instagram, bro? Like, why? Like, even if, like, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You really about that life, John. You really out here.
Cool,
Like,
you got it. You got it.
Right?
You got it.
I will give you the benefit of the doubt. The fact that you were that dumb to hit live on Instagram is like, come on, man.
You know how many times I would be drunk on the way home?
And
Like,
listen.
let me talk to these people. I'm
Listen.
like, nah, bro, don't even do it.
Take it from me, bro. I done said a lot and done a lot of dumb shit on social media
Right.
at the age of 23 years old. I paid the $8 like everybody else to make sure nobody sees what I used to tweet after drinking a lot. You know what I'm saying? I understand.
I get it. I totally get it. And I get the fact that he's not going to get it right every time.
Right.
A lot of these babies coming up that are in the league or about to hit the league are not going to get it right every time. And that's totally fine.
That's fine, yo. People make mistakes.
People our age, me, you, him, Jake, Madison, everybody in here is not going to get it right. My dad, my sister, you know what I mean? We don't get it right, but it's how bad you don't get it right.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was just bad. And
I also don't want it to turn into something where, like, it follows him for the rest of his career.
I mean, it's going to follow him for a minute.
It's going to follow
him for a minute, and that's just inevitable.
But people forget quick. Like, I mean, the news cycle is quick, and I don't know. I just feel like
that right there, that's not something you forget quick. Based on the magnitude of what it was and who he is and how much this is going to run the news cycle for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And if he gets suspended for 50 games, there's a different conversation to be had as well.
But that's also a consequence. And like, you know, maybe that's the thing that needs to happen to change it. But people, like, I can't imagine, like you were saying, if you have all that disposable income and everyone's telling you how great you are from this time to this time, like there's just a certain amount of like embedded ego that comes with that,
That's
right?
true.
Like when we're making those decisions,
I'm sure nobody can tell him shit at
yeah, exactly.
Right. What are you going to tell me?
It's not like a little bit of money. You got like,
bro,
fuck you money forever.
Quarter of $1 billion.
You are getting $250 million from your NBA team,
real.
and you're a signature athlete for Nike. Your JA1s just dropped, bro.
And then the power age shit like that, like it's just like you have, it's right there on the table.
So I can also understand where you're coming from, where it's like, yo, maybe he was just like,
fuck it.
A little rebellion.
I'm sure
Just a little bit of rebellion,
people were telling him like, yo, you need to chill out. Like, I'm sure there were lots of people that were in this corner like, yo, man, you bugging out a little bit. A lot of times, like, he's got to take that blame and be like, all right, like, I fucked up. And I hope people don't, like, come down on him, like, super duper hard for the rest of his career. Because, like, if we all start opening up and looking at all of our...
Look at Karl Malone's career.
Gosh, I don't even want to take it that deep. But, I mean, just like...
I mean, that's a...
I'm just saying, like, people will just, as long as you're successful, like, you fit in the box of adding value.
The selective outrage and the selective memory, it kicks in with athletes and entertainers all the time.
Did you, what were your thoughts?
Was that a purposeful segue to selective outrage?
I think it was.
Listen, man, I'm on my shit.
You are.
Listen, he's in his bag right now. Transition bag.
I'm on my shit. I had to outdo you.
Yes, that's right.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is KAZ from Say Less, and Black History Month isn't just about 1 month. It's about the entire year. And throughout this year, join Walmart in amplifying the voices of Black brands and creators, giving them a stage to spotlight their unlimited brilliance. That's Black and Unlimited. What does it mean to be Black and Unlimited? It means being exactly who you are. To be unlimited in your potential, to be unlimited in your creativity, to be unlimited in your imagination, and to be unlimited in your vision. Throughout the year, join Walmart in amplifying the voices of Black brands and creators, giving them a stage to spotlight their unlimited brilliance. That is Black and Unlimited. Visit walmart.com/Black and Unlimited to learn more. Cartier, Rolex, Gucci, Prada, Jordan, Adidas, Bottega Veneta. At eBay, it's real or it's getting the fake out. eBay's team of luxury authenticators are making sure you never get faked over again. Watches inspected by watch aficionados. Sneakers checked by legit sneakerheads. Handbags examined by handbag connoisseurs. And jewelry in the scopes of expert gemologists. These authenticators are leaders in their field, with meticulous eyes making sure your piece arrives as authentic as your style and worthy of your collection. As experts, they know the true difference between a real and a fake. Real carries that rare, distinguished feel, the weight of pure platinum, exquisite scent of Togo leather, and the tight stitching on a pair of dunks, the brilliance of real diamonds. So rest assured, your Rolex moves just like a Rolex should, and that colorway on your Jordan Royals will always be on point. The details inspected, the fakes rejected. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal with eBay's authenticity guarantee. Everyone deserves real. Visit ebay.com for terms. I just learned Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned doubled. All the cash back from eating at your favorite soup dumpling restaurant doubled. All the cash back from that trip where you sort of learned to snowboard also doubled. And the best part, you don't have to do anything ridiculous to get it. Nope, Discover does it automatically. Seriously though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
I had to outdo you on the last segue. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get this nigga.
Selective outrage.
There we go.
It took a year after a year and some change from the slap heard around the world. Chris Rock, Will Smith.
Dropped it.
Chris Rock finally had his day in court, the People's Court. Live Netflix special. I think I know a lot of people who have seen his stand up. Like he's been kind of practicing this joint, but this is the first time Netflix
Officially.
did a straight up
event.
live.
Yeah, it was like,
yeah.
it played out live in front of all of us.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Very
Got the
dope.
notification like, oh,
I'm like, oh shit.
I guess I'm clicking this.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to the show.
Yeah, yo, man. So
Yeah.
it's. I got conflicting thoughts on this, right?
Well, that's why we're here to talk about
I'm a Chris Rock fan.
Me too.
My dog is named Pootie Tang.
Just say it.
I'm a Chris
Shout out to
Rock
young Pootie.
That's what we're all thinking.
I love Chris Rock.
Just gotta
bro.
say it. Yeah, just get to it. Just get to it.
Do you want me to say it?
Hey, do you want me to say it?
It was mid, man.
Yeah.
It was mid. Like there was some parts.
That was a gamble because I didn't know what sound it made.
You know what?
That still made it so funny. It was so funny. Oh, that's the one. That's the one.
There it is.
That's the one.
Still testing out the soundboard. It's
Yeah.
gonna work out, goddamn. It was all right. There was some bits that I liked. I'm not gonna lie.
Of course.
The Beyonce bit I thought was funny. It was a lot of Chris Rock kind of doing the hits a little bit, you know what I mean?
That's
just
what I
doing
took from it.
a lot of the stuff that we kind of know he's gonna talk about. And
Remember me, and we get it, bro.
Yeah.
We know your structure.
And then he finally gets into the whole Will and Jada addressing the slap and all that type of stuff. And there was some certain things that didn't feel so much like jokes, more it felt like I'm
Therapy.
just gonna vent.
Yeah.
Just
It felt like therapy.
Get this out, like
Definitely a venting session for
Yeah,
sure.
that's pretty much what it was.
Which to a part of me, I kind of understand why. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like you probably took it in stride, and there was the comedy community stood with Chris Rock. Like they very vehemently was on some fuck Will Smith shit for the past year. You know what I mean? Like he was
So
public
much
enemy.
so that everyone told him that this special was pretty good.
Listen. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Drop something on that one. Drop something on that one.
It's not like that, but that's what you said. Like these comedians go out and they practice this. He didn't just come in cold with this. Like he's working this in different places. He has to be, right?
And he kind of stumbled on the joke too.
He was stumbling a lot.
He stumbled on the delivery too.
He stumbled on a lot.
And he's amazing.
Fucked up the joke. I was like, damn.
But it didn't feel quite as special or as deep or innovative or pushing the
I'll be
boundary
honest.
as like what I could have expected, you know?
So okay, so I got several thoughts on that, right? Like first thought is
Run it off.
when's the last stand-up that really made me be like, this motherfucker is nice? Like
Bill Burr.
Okay.
Bill Burr has
Alright.
several
okay.
that he just that
Bill Burr's a beast.
Cold.
Bill Burr's a beast.
That's mine. Who do you
Well, I was gonna say it's a little bit of a like endemic problem in comedy because all those guys are doing podcasts all the time instead of working on their comedy because they're just like
So
going
you're
where the
already
money is.
hearing you're hearing some of the skeletons on the podcast.
No, I'm just saying they're not even focusing on like
the art.
Yeah, right
Gotcha.
now
I
the
got you.
most like I feel like the biggest people, not all the biggest people, but like the new biggest people who are doing stand up are doing podcasts where they get popular and that's how they're selling out theaters.
Yeah.
But like then it gets to the stand up and you're like, oh, I thought you were. I guess you're funnier in this other format that's maybe not stand up as much. So I don't even know.
Maybe you should stay behind.
I don't even know one that was like, oh, this. Like I can't even think of. Like Bill Burr is great. He's amazing.
I like Michael Che. I got there's some guys that I like, but like I kind of agree with you. Like I just feel like the stand-up medium is just like
the bar's low.
the first time we all heard Chris Rock was like, for me, it was like the first time I really fell in love with stand-up comedy.
Right.
So it's almost like
you play those things back, like you still play them back. With
It's
people.
not even just the jokes were good. Like the entire thought of being able to like express these things, like word vomit, where it's like, you know, you could hear something that makes you just laugh just as much on social media now, or on Twitter, or on YouTube, or on TikTok. Whereas like the first ever time I just sat and just watched somebody talk and tell jokes, I'm like, holy shit, like you can be famous just for standing here and telling
shit.
jokes, like, and then talking shit about people. So it's like I'm always gonna look at Chris Rock in a different lens, because to me he's like Jordan in that type of way, where it's like nothing.
You're not wrong.
He's got hits.
He's got the hits, and it's like, well, I don't need him to go
He's got
out.
classics. He's got the
I don't
gold
need him to go
medal.
out and reinvent the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Like he put out Bigger and Blacker. He put out like fucking
What's the, I know which one you're talking about.
Never Scared. He put out like fucking. He's put out so many classic
Comedy album.
1 hour stand.
Where does he fall for you? Like if you're doing a tier ranking, like is he?
He's still tier one to
Is
me.
he definitively a step below Chappelle though? Like where there's like a difference, or would you group them together?
I grouped them together.
Chappelle and Chris Rock are still tier one to me. I just thought this was mid.
Yeah.
Like I just thought I'm not gonna.
His whole thing is not mid. Like his whole existence and his being is not mid. This
It's
was
not like
just
boxing where it's like, oh, he got knocked out, so like we got to put him down to pound for pound.
this was just a bad game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he had
If you
he
compare it
literally
to the Chappelle one, like he did a couple this past like 2 years, right? Like I feel like
Chappelle
those
hasn't
were-
missed in the last.
he doesn't miss,
He has not
and
missed.
he'll do something where it's like it's not jokes, but you're still captivated.
You're just like,
by the
what?
story, you know.
I
and
think
telling.
Chappelle, what separates Chappelle from so many other stand-up comics is outside of being a funny dude, he's just an amazing speaker.
Yeah.
Like when he's just talking, you're just like, you're just locked into what he's gonna say, because the way he talks like a jazz musician and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So it's like anything he says, you're gonna pay attention to. Same thing with Chris Rock in a sense, where it's like, you know, he's got a very distinct animated voice that we've all kind of grown up with, whether it's Pookie or fucking an animated film or like whatever the fuck. We just have things that we say in regular everyday life that we don't even know that we attribute.
Yeah.
You know, I
to Chris
think.
Rock.
You know what? I think if he did that bit, if he just did that last 20-minute bit at the Comedy Cellar,
Right.
I think it'd hit a little bit different.
Here's the thing.
Because this was such a big production. It was such a massive thing that happened in pop culture. I think, you know, I can't tell someone how to react and when to react.
Right.
And I think that's what we're trying to do with Chris in regards to him and Will. We're trying to police how he handles it and what he says about it. Right.
I
don't think it was a funny situation.
Yeah.
I think it was a fucked up situation. I think it was a really, really disrespectful situation. And I don't know how how you can turn the tide and really make it funny, because we know deep down inside he feels a really big, like that is
Rage.
still
Here's the
still
thing.
poking at him.
Here's the other side of that coin, right? As I was watching the Oscars as it happened, the first time I saw that smack, the first thing that went through my mind is like, oh my God, that's gonna be a phenomenal bit when
it's a
Chris
bit.
Rock finally does it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, if he's really mad at him, like he shouldn't be, because you just gave him like the greatest bit in the history. You gave him the greatest gift a stand-up comic could ever have. You gave him material for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? But
well, this is my takeaway from it was like, when you become like he's had this storied, amazing career,
Right.
But now, if you're playing word association game and someone goes Chris Rock, and the first thing you say is
Will
the
Smith.
slap,
Yeah.
like yo,
It's a
no
slap.
one wants to be defined by
Damn, that
getting
is true.
slapped.
That's
very
Like,
true.
it's a little emasculating, right?
very true. It's
And
very
and
true.
like I can understand the rage that comes from like taking that away from him,
That's what I'm
taking away
saying.
his,
like
his
how
specials.
do you turn that? How do you turn such a polarizing incident that happened in front of the world, and then still have the gall to go out and try to be funny or make fun? Because comedians always make fun of themselves all the time.
In
Yeah,
Chris
of
Rock's
course.
case, I'm pretty sure what happened was, as soon as that slap happened, HBO called, Amazon called, Netflix called, everybody called. They're like,
Price went up.
they're like, name your price.
Right.
Whenever you're ready to talk about
Yesterday's
this,
price is
name
not
your fucking
today's
price.
price.
You know what I mean? The fact that it was a live special, Netflix knew. I can't even imagine, Jake, if you can find, I can't even imagine the number Netflix played for
Oh,
that
yeah,
special.
tons,
You know what I'm
tons.
saying? So
For
if
sure.
I'm Chris Rock, at the very least, I could say, I got enough hits in the stash. If this is what y'all want, if this is what y'all want for me to have fucking, I already have generational wealth. If I want generational wealth times 10, sure, fuck it. Yeah, I'll tell the story. And if it's my best day in the
what was
office,
the special? I forgot. A big comedian. He had the red shirt on, and he did a Netflix special and revealed.
Gerard Carmichael.
If Chris did it like that,
What, said he was gay?
He actually would have been good.
Kaz would go there.
Yeah, he should have revealed that for sure.
Kaz, yes. That slap made me gay.
That's the way. That's the way to win America
That
back,
shit just
people.
slapped the gay in me. No, I'm saying like if shut up. If it was like an intimate convo therapy
America,
session.
let me tell you something.
Like, bro, like I didn't need that yelling at me the entire, like, cause I know you want to
It's
talk
his
about this.
style.
I know you want to really get this off your chest. I know you want to really tell people, like, this is how this shit made me feel. This is what I went through. This is who called me. Like, I know he really wanted to have a different kind of conversation around this event.
Okay.
I think there was something that,
Because he didn't do the podcast, he didn't do the interview with
No.
XYZ.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
it's-
That's why. So this was the moment, right?
it was, but I think the moment, I think he wanted to have a convo.
Right.
It wasn't.
And
It was a
it
show.
wasn't a convo, it was a show. And it's
Yeah.
just like, how do you handle that? And it's still going to
it-
be talked about. And like he said, when you play a word association game, as soon as someone says Will Smith or someone says Chris Rock, that's
It's
it.
still
But that's
it. Yeah,
the
it's
thing.
still it.
Okay, so that's another thing that kind of frustrates me a little bit, because now that like. We all love mess, right? Like, it's entertaining, it's funny, but now it's like, these are two of our greatest. Will Smith, like Mr.
yeah,
fucking July 4th, one of the greatest movie stars of all time.
Literally one of the only people who could be counted as a movie star, right?
Bankable
A
fucking
movie
movie star.
Tom
like, to
Cruise,
this
Will
day.
Smith. Name someone else who's like, that's just like, oh yeah, they have a movie out.
I don't know the movie,
Let's-
but Will Smith's
we'll
in
go
it, so
see
we're all
it.
gonna
Yeah,
watch it, right?
exactly.
Like, it's those two, like maybe Denzel, right?
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah,
box office, he's the guy.
Right.
Chris Rock, one of the funniest dudes, redefined an entire genre of comedy, all this other shit. Now these two people are linked or known for this, like,
and now they're going to be entangled for life.
You know who I
shit.
blame?
Oh.
That fucking.
I didn't. Yeah, wait, I didn't. I didn't. No,
what was you gonna say?
I'm just saying, like, they're entangled for life. Like, all right, okay. All right.
Oh, entanglements.
There's a lot of double entendres going on today.
Don't even ask me how.
There's
No.
a lot of double entendres going on today. I like
There's
that.
So what was your thoughts on the reaction to this special? Like,
I mean, like,
it was
it is what it is. Like,
okay.
it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
some people think it
Some
was
people
funny.
are like,
Some people think
he
it was.
shouldn't have called her a bitch.
When does the internet love anything unanimously though? Either one.
I've never seen the internet say
was great.
together that was good.
great.
Right. So no, I'm
yeah.
watching it like I was I was at Sahara and the shit was on, so I asked I asked like 45 minutes into the special. I was like, how's Chris doing?
Okay.
The overwhelming response was what you said when we first started this discussion. Mid.
It was mid.
Then when it came to the end, somebody tweeted me and was like, "Yo, you've been waiting for the last 10 minutes."
I'll be honest, the last 10
That's
minutes
what everybody said.
The last 10 minutes had me captivated. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie, like that part, like he said a lot of things that a lot of people were kind of afraid to say and were kind of hoping he would say. You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
that's been him his whole career too.
we all know that slap wasn't just towards Chris, right? Like we all know, like it was from so much.
Yeah.
That Will.
But he said that. Will said that,
and
Will admitted to that.
Exactly. But the reaction was what was funny to me. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like we got this. What's the word? When you make up a past that isn't real. What's the word I was looking for?
Delusional?
Not delusional, but we got this
fabricated
erasure. Like we're doing erasure.
Gotcha.
What's erasure?
Of like
We're
Chris
erasing
Rock's
what his legacy was.
revisionist history.
I'm like, did you make up? I'm like, did you make that word up? Erasure?
Now we're doing a lot of revisionist history.
Yes, no, you're right.
On Chris Rock, right? Like, there's a lot of, I never thought it was funny.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
he was
I've seen that. Yeah, I
he
saw
was
that
the
a lot.
token black guy.
I'm like, we're not doing
the
that.
fucking the Vanity Fair cover that's coming out. I'm like, bro, that's the 90s.
Like, that's in the context behind that. Like, come on.
Like, he dressed up as a million different clowns for that shoot. Like, he's a comedian. It's a story about comedy. All right, whatever. I get it. If that photo of a black man in that sort of painting like makes you uncomfortable.
Because they were saying that. I think he was trying to depict at that time that's what was being shown on TV with black actors, like Mitchell show shit.
Do we want to run through like all of the hella controversial magazine covers that came out during the 90s and to the mid 2000s? Like before Instagram, like that's how you got attention. You would do a fucking crazy looking magazine cover, right? Like that's what you did, you know. But it's. I understand both sides.
It's okay to say this shit was ass.
It's okay to say this shit was not your cup of tea, right?
It's okay to say
it wasn't ass. It was just the expectations were so high.
It was ass.
Really?
It was ass. To me, I'm sorry. I'm like, if you want me to keep it a buck,
sure.
I'm not gonna pander. It was ass.
The last 10 minutes were still ass?
10 minutes, like I said, he could have did that Jared Carmichael route. He could have had that conversation in front of a very small, intimate crowd and said what he really wanted to say instead of saying it like that. Now, cool. Some people might have enjoyed that. That might have been funny to them. It's like, yeah, that's how you get it back. That's how you take your control back. Cool, I get that too. But for me,
it shouldn't be about taking control back. It should be just, was this shit funny?
And I'm saying it was not funny.
Wasn't funny enough.
It was not enough. It wasn't funny.
That's the lens I looked at it through. I wasn't like, oh man, he's gonna get her back, or they're gonna show.
Yeah.
Will show. I'm not like Team Will or Team Chris. I just want to
laugh.
I just want to laugh.
Was this shit gonna be funny?
Again, this is all subjective, right? I'm allowed to say, that shit wasn't funny.
Yeah.
But it does not, like you said, selective revisionist, like
revisionist history.
Revisionist history. I'm not gonna sit here and say like this nigga is not one of the most smartest comedians that's ever touched a microphone.
The first time I ever learned about taxes was a Chris Rock stand-up.
Like, so let's not.
When they said you don't pay tax, they take tax. I'm like, they take tax? What does that mean? That's what
it's like, nigga, I didn't know George Bush was a C student.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, like, bro, like he's taught me so much and about how.
And maybe it's a little sad that I learned some stuff like that from stand-up comedians.
It's part of culture.
It's part of, if you learned it, you learned it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they don't teach about taxes in school. So
I know there's gonna be somebody you learned about taxes through Chris Rock and
sure
Tom
did.
Nigga. I'm just like,
all right.
So
yeah, like I said,
that was aggressive.
Yeah, you always go that route. It was like it was your third comment today that was a little aggressive. No, but like I always said,
I get flashbacks, guys. I'm just like,
like I always say,
those Vietnam. I see bombs exploding.
Another aggressive. Anyway, like I always say,
dogs
two
barking.
things.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah, like now you went too far, bro. That was good.
I went too far.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like I always say, two things can be true, right? Chris Rock can still be one of the funniest comedians to ever grace this planet, but that special was ass.
It was mid. I'll go mid. Mid's not ass.
I'm gonna call it ass.
What I want to know is where you go from here, right? Okay, because no one wants to hear the conversation anymore, right? So where
after you have said it, after you have explained it, and after you have really detailed how you really felt,
Yo, so sidebar, I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody watched it, but Marlon Wayans also dropped a special
I heard that shit was
on
funny.
HBO.
I heard and it addressed it
and
better.
it addressed it way better than Chris Rock did, right? So
we need to watch this special,
it's
Marlon
called-
Wayans.
Well, see, it's easy. It's going to
Give
be
his
easier
flowers.
because it's going to be easier because one, he didn't have to deal with the
well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's called God Loves Me, right?
No, yeah, I know about it. Yeah.
So, did you
I
watch it?
didn't watch it yet. I didn't watch
So
it
the
yet.
whole running theme is that like he's always like he starts off with, "Yo, when Chris Rock Will Smith smacked Chris Rock, this was proof that God loved me," right? Because he had a unique relationship with Chris Rock, Will Smith, and Jada Pinkett from being young black Hollywood from the 90s, right?
Wow.
So like he's not only just telling stories of like, you know, how Chris Rock heckled him as a young stand-up comedian and which made him quit stand-up to go into like, fuck, I'm fucking terrible. I'm just gonna go write TV shows and movies and do all this type of shit to like prove myself, to like get my confidence back or whatever, to fall in love with Jada Pinkett Smith on the set of a movie, you know what I'm saying? And like thinking he's in there with her and then like going into the trailer and like meeting like the Fresh Prince for the first time. And
Right.
shit.
I need to watch
and
this.
then like it's just so well done. And then like it tells like, you know, and it's basically a story about like, yo, like I've always looked up to like Will Smith as like he was the A-lister bankable movie star. Like at one point,
Mr. July 4th.
it sounded crazy, but like in the early 90s, there was like a handful of young black famous dudes. And like Marlon Wayans was like, he wanted to be in that mix and people didn't take him seriously for the longest time because Will Smith was, you know, the guy. And he was saying like every time he would audition for shit, like Will Smith would be the fucking dude who would.
He was probably the more polished version of that.
Right.
Right,
So,
right.
but it's funny. It talks about
Insightful.
like it's insightful. It's really good on like enjoying your own journey and then like appreciating like, well, damn, like, yeah, like he was aiming to be these guys, but like Marlon, he's written, produced 12, 13 movies, classic TV shows, one of the funniest dudes ever to live, famous family, like put his whole family, like incredible fucking lineage in his own right. But he also addressed that incident in a way that humanizes all of them. And being like, man, this is just an ugly situation. I wish we could all just fucking move on from it. Because it's like, Will Smith's one of the fucking GOATs.
Yeah.
He held up black excellence for the longest time.
Yeah.
The Will and Jada relationship was the fucking real life fucking, I guess,
see.
Huxtable. I was going to say Huxtable. But, you know, Will and Jada was, you know, that was a bar for people. Like, that's the relationship he had. Chris Rock. Famous, greatest stand-ups ever. Jada Pinkett, one of the greatest actresses, most famous black woman, powerful black woman there is. So check that out. If you thought the Chris Rock shit was ass, the Marlon Wayans shit was definitely
I'll definitely do that before the week is out. I'll definitely, you know, try to check that out. But, you know, this situation has, you know, let us know that, you know, what's for us is for us. Like what's for Chris is for Chris. How Will has handled this, and I don't know if he saw the special or cares to see it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's for him. And how we interpret it is how we interpret it. You know, just comedic level, you know, standards, not just fuck what happened. Delivery, flow, him, you know, fumbling over his jokes. It just didn't look like the Chris that I know to be true. And it's fine. Like, he's getting older. You lose a step or two. Like, that's what happens.
And it was live.
So, yeah, the expectations. So that's why I keep going back to this Jared Carmichael thing. Like, if he sat there on a stool and looked people in their face.
But Jared Carmichael isn't as funny.
I know. Well, no. I'm just saying, well, we don't have to do that.
He's
No. What I'm
a great writer. I don't think he's like, he's never made me go,
no. What
I'm
I'm not saying in the standard of him making people laugh.
It's
You know,
more
you
intimate.
know what Gerard Carmichael
I'm
is?
saying in the standard of the environment.
Gerard Carmichael is hold your chin funny. Like he makes you go,
Ponder. You ponder a thought.
No,
You doing that ponder
that's
after
a
it's
great
on the joke.
analogy.
Yeah.
But I think Chris is that and slap me funny. And I think this situation called for that kind of conversation, that kind of environment. I think if he did it there, I think we would all looked at it a little bit differently. Like, damn, okay, I get it now.
I would see. So
I understand that.
Well,
now.
I'm sure Netflix was glad regardless. The after show was fucking hilarious though. You saw the after show with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
No, I couldn't.
Hilarious.
That's good.
Anyway, Hildy, who's playing quarterback for us this year?
Oh, for the New York Jets.
Aaron Rodgers.
So I'm pretty convinced we're the worst at attracting good energy like I just don't see it. Like I guess like Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield.
Don't
Don't do it, yo.
Chris Streveler, the GOAT.
I like
Shout out to Chris
Streveler. I thought Streveler should have got more burn.
Why didn't y'all snatch Derek Carr before the Saints did?
You know what?
I'm not mad about that.
I'm not mad at letting
He
Derek
can't
Carr
throw in the
move.
cold.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the whole throw in the cold thing, I think that might be a little
So
overblown.
is Aaron Rodgers out of y'all reach?
Nah, I
it's
think as
possible.
of right now, Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers
very possible.
is very much in play.
If Aaron Rodgers, y'all pass or it doesn't work out, do y'all pursue Lamar?
I
hope so.
wanted Lamar
Oh my
since
God.
day one.
Okay.
Like I'm like, what? But now we kind of see like the whole collusion shit going on. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
I see
like
it.
they don't want to.
They don't want to give him up.
The
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson shit kind of fucked everybody up. So all the owners are probably
Yeah,
like, listen.
there's some weird, like, let's not break that ceiling
Yeah,
again.
they're like, yo, we only did this because this guy was kind of, so let's just do this, you know. But
weird.
a lot of when it came to that situation. So everybody immediately coming out and being like, oh, we're not in on Lamar Jackson. We don't want him.
Because I
was
see like 7 teams pass up on him. Like the Dolphins, the Falcons.
Doesn't make sense.
The
only quarterback. Yeah,
all
yeah.
your quarterbacks are terrible.
Like
not
every
even
team, like y'all literally gonna pass on him.
yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
It made you really ponder. So I mean, the Aaron Rodgers thing is gonna be funny though, because Aaron Rodgers is such a character, and like him being
he's
in
a solid,
New York.
He's a solid quarterback.
Do you ever watch him on
he's
Pat
more than-
McAfee?
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, like-
all the time.
Yeah,
all
like
the time.
he people act like he's elusive, but he really just tells you everything he's thinking if you just listen to him.
He is so
Yeah.
forthcoming.
He's very straightforward.
on everything.
He's very direct.
Just no one asks him like, "Hey, are you going to play for the Jets?" They're just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, let's."
And it's like, oh well, you know.
I could hear him say, "Fuck no."
And then I'd be like, "We respect it. We'll go back to being miserable."
that'd be dope to see him on New York.
I
with
think
the
it'll be
Jets.
dope, but like I just think he's gonna be. You talked about it, right? Him being on the Pat McAfee show and like just the way he talks. Like I hope he does more New York media when he's here.
You know,
If he's here, if he's here.
we did this with Brett Favre. I don't remember the year.
See, okay,
and it worked out
everybody
well.
compares it to Brett Favre.
People forget. We were like 8-3 or 7-3
Before Bountygate,
and then he
before
got hurt.
Before the Saints like put a bounty on his fucking head.
Yeah, so it could.
They were winning.
If that would have worked out, we probably like I'm here for it. I think I've learned sports wise. This is even with like I haven't been watching the Knicks during their streak because I
Yeah.
feel like when I pay too much attention to the things that I love, they fail. So like I watch the like.
Wait, do you have a girlfriend? Like, when you pay
Yeah.
attention,
That
when you
was a
pay
sharp turn.
no, I just like the analogy. He was like, when I pay attention to things that I love, they fail. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
we're working on that for sure. And that balance.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
However, I
Get
did,
introspective real quick. Like, damn, am I?
no, I did see a tweet a while ago though that says like if your like significant other, if your man is like a fan of like a terrible sports team, like you want him. That's a loyal ass dude. If he's sticking around for 40 seasons of
Everybody
being
said
a
that about
Jets
the Knicks.
fan,
Not bad.
like
oh.
then he'll put it up with whatever shit you're giving him.
Not
And like,
bad.
If he's waited 40 years and still hasn't got a ring, he'll wait for you.
he'll wait for you.
He'll wait for you.
He'll give you that ring. You know, it's got to go somewhere. There's something to be said for it, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen. That's why us Knicks Jets fans are very unique people, man. We're very loyal.
Yeah.
We're loyal to the soil, and we'll even take a wild ass Aaron Rodgers 1 or 2 years in New York, man. Like,
You gotta
for
shake
it.
something up.
yeah. Nah, I mean, listen.
I
I
stopped
just hope.
caring.
What's up?
Like I've stopped caring to the point where I see people online get so upset about everything.
Yes.
And this is like politics or your favorite sports team or whatever. And like I don't know when people ever stop and think you have no control over any of this.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Just enjoy the process.
Hold on, because this is I don't like how you're trying to mirror this.
What are you
because-
trying
hold on,
to
sorry.
because
What are you trying to say?
what no see between you guys,
Okay.
and especially because I know you like one of my best friends, so I know how you are. I know how you're wired, and I'm starting to understand how you are. You guys have done a very magnificent job at masking your
Yes.
disappointment, your
Yes.
frustrations.
Yes.
Cheers.
You have masked that. So when
It's a gift.
Disappointment.
It's a gift.
so when you say you see people online getting upset about things they can't control, you guys just have figured it out how to get mad at things you can't control.
I think that's. Forgive me if I speak for you.
No, please speak for me.
I think the beauty,
wild.
the beauty of rooting for a terrible team is that when you've been hurt before,
You can't hurt me again.
You can't hurt me again.
You understand how toxic that
Like,
feels?
I
That's
built
very
up-
nasty.
I built up such a callus for Jets and Knicks disappointment.
Yeah.
That if Ryan Tannehill is my quarterback, I'm
don't
still gonna be
care.
like,
Your emotional
We got the
armor
off-
in regards to these two organizations
Yes.
is very bulletproof.
we got the offensive and defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
We got Brees Hall coming back.
Yeah.
If we got somebody who has a pulse that can throw a football, I'll root for that team.
Well, I would go as far to say that, you know, the calluses that come from the disappointment of rooting for an underperforming sports team and knowing it doesn't matter how angry I get online, they're still going to do what they do, has set me up for like understanding and accepting like global warming. I don't tweet at people saying you gotta stop throwing shit. I'm just like I accept.
So listen.
This is going the wrong way, and I'm here for it.
It's snowing in August.
I'm just here for whatever happens.
So listen, at this
You guys
point-
have such a unique view of life.
Listen.
I love every.
What can I really do about
Well, I'm gonna get
global
upset
warming?
about Ukraine.
Nothing.
I mean, what can I
Nothing.
What can I do
Nothing.
today
Nothing.
to stop the
Nothing.
emissions? Right?
I can't stop emissions.
There's nothing you can do about the front office for the Jets and the
I
Knicks.
could have paper mache sneakers and jeans for the rest of my life.
and it's still gonna happen.
And then like a plant could blow up and put like a zillion
what
chemicals,
happens.
like trucks spilling off. Another train derailment with
Yeah,
toxic waste.
That's a little weird.
Our bad. Use a paper straw. We're gonna save the environment. Oh, don't mind this train derailment with a million tons of toxic
They were like
waste.
6 in 3 days.
Yeah, like nah,
Yeah.
bro.
There's something going on that we don't know about.
I mean, listen.
Just glad I don't live in Ohio.
The aliens kind of came and went. You know what I mean? They were doing double dutch.
They was
did the double dutch.
they was dipping their toe in the water. Like, we're not ready yet. We're
All
not
alien news. I just if I see anything about alien, I just avoid it.
Nah,
'cause
Why do you avoid it?
That's just funny as hell.
I'm not trying to read these declassified reports that just like tell you like, oh, this
They're
shit.
like, bro, they're here.
They're here.
There's an ignorance is bliss that I
There's a-
only extend to aliens.
It's always a scouting report. Like
Okay.
every year we get a scouting. That's what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
it's like Duke and Alabama. They're looking like, all right, who's the next one?
So, like, listen,
what are we doing? We doing like
They
that's
got
what
a
they're
tough
doing.
offensive line. You know what I'm
Yeah, I'm
saying? They're
telling
gonna
you.
come hard.
They've seen
but-
nothing of value on our planet, and that's
You always see they always in the Midwest. They never come to the
honest-
East. They never come to the East Coast. They always right in the Midwest. They
So
always
here-
in Nebraska and North Dakota. They never come to New York.
So
They
here's,
never,
I swear
so
I've
here's
seen
my
some
theory.
on the subway though.
okay.
Here's my theory, right?
Maybe
Like,
back in our pocket.
there was a whole lot of like balloons and like weird activity and stuff being shot
Balloons,
down the first
balloons.
month of the year, right? I think they came here, like they looked around, like there's like probably some cool aliens that have been here for a while, and they're like, oh, you know, it's not that bad once you get around to it. You know?
And they heard the
Like,
Chris
you know,
Rock
whatever.
special, and they were like, that was more mid than my universe. I'm back.
Like, wrap this shit up, B.
You don't respect the black woman here. We live.
Wait, aliens
I
talk
don't
like
know.
that? That's how aliens talk. Aliens are like the aliens
don't-
from Pakistan. Like that's how they
I
talk.
tried to do a robot voice, and it sounded
Yeah, that was very
It
racist.
sounded more like Apu.
Yeah, like bro, like
I was not going for Apu at all. That was my robot.
To be honest, we don't know. It could be accurate. It could be
could be,
accurate.
like
yeah.
he's talking like the aliens can make a fire, bacon, egg, and cheese. Like, bro, that's it's not how they.
I'm sure they would. I would try. Like, if an alien came down and offered you something to eat, would you eat it?
No.
What if they were like, listen, we've been here for like the beginning of time. What we're about to hand you is we've studied your taste buds and what you guys.
If
you
they
know.
hand me a steak from Hillstone, I'm eating it.
No, listen,
Oh, okay,
listen to
sorry.
the scenario.
Okay.
Aliens just pulled up.
Wait, like in what car?
They just pulled up.
Okay, just pulled up. All right.
Just pulled up.
Okay.
They're like, yo.
No car?
No car. That's what I'm saying.
They're like, listen.
What are they listening to?
Y'all know you. You don't know me. They talk very regular.
okay.
They're like, yo,
All right, all
I'm
right.
from outer space.
Okay.
I'm an actual alien. I've been here. I've been alive for 5,000 years, and I've been monitoring everything you guys do on this
So he's been
planet.
stalking me.
All of y'all. I'm
Okay,
an
all
alien,
of-
bro.
okay, all
Your
right.
little minds can't even comprehend this stuff I know out here.
That's how
son.
they talk. That's how they talk.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
So
exactly
they
how they
talk like
talk.
they're from Highbridge, bro.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
exactly.
I
Yeah, I
got
was gonna say,
It's
I've already
better than
walked past them because I thought they were gonna sell me like on some shit. So like in New York, like
So
this
they're on,
conversation
they're
doesn't
on
happen.
Canal Street.
Well, 1,000%.
That's the aliens.
I
I was like, yeah, you're an alien.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
for sure.
Yeah,
I'm on the
okay.
phone though. I
It's
gotta keep walking.
better than sounding like Apu.
Okay,
so,
right, yeah.
so like, yo,
More
we
racism.
know, like, listen, yo.
We know everything about you.
We know everything about you.
Right.
What I got right here is the best tasting steak you've ever had in life. I know what you call Hillstone. I've been here. That Hillstone, we wipe our ass with Hillstones on my planet, son. That's how they talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it like on a plate or is it like in a bag?
He just pulls it out of his pocket. His alien
pocket
pocket.
steak.
pulls it out. Oh, the pocket steak.
He just goes,
Listen,
He pulls it out of his pocket.
So I've been watching y'all. Like y'all like steaks, right? Y'all like steaks.
Okay, so he pulls it out of his pocket. Is
Pulls
it
it out.
seasoned?
But here's the thing: he pulls it out of his alien pocket.
So
and
like,
it's the
is
best looking fucking steak I've ever seen.
Is the pocket like a stove or a grill?
You just gotta trust his alien taste. That like I know what taste is. I'm not from this planet, but I've been studying.
Hoodie,
y'all.
I never thought I would be having a conversation like this on a sports, music, news podcast. You have to trust his alien taste. That's a statement I've never thought I heard.
Trust
What
the
I
alien
would
taste.
say
All right, Hoodie, you
is
answer first.
if an alien is asking me to do something, it would be a mistake not to.
Oh, man.
Shout out to Eden, yo. That was Eden. That was
Eden
That'd be a big mistake.
That was an Eden classic right there.
There it is.
All right, Hoodie. All right. Let's get off this alien shit and focus on before we get out of here. Focus on what we got to focus on. Hoodie, talk to us about what you're about to present to the world.
Oh, I made an album, and usually my music is very pop rap, which is your favorite type of rap. I'm just kidding.
This. Yeah,
No.
keep trying to tell you that.
But I don't have it's kind of like a sad boy album a little bit more in the alternative indie world.
Let me tell you something.
Mid feelings? Is it mid feelings?
I fucking love sad boy
It's
music.
feelings, but hopefully it's not mid. Hopefully it's a little greater than that. But it's fun. Yeah, it's nice to do something different. Like I've been able to do music for 10 years now, and like it's cool to switch things up and do something that maybe people don't completely expect. Because if you do it for long enough, people kind of think they know what they're gonna get from you. So
What's the title? Like what are we calling
it's
it?
called Bub.
Bub?
Yeah, B-U-B.
Like bub as in like a salutation, like yeah, bub, like Wolverine.
But yeah, Bub is in like what you might call your
Like your buddy.
your significant other or something like that.
Oh,
So
like,
is- so
that
this-
is real
so this-
sad boy music.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
So is this
Wow.
is this a story or is this a personal experience? or?
It's ripped from the real life of my last relationship sort of ending and me being thinking that was like the relationship. Yeah. And then it got a little too timey entanglements, some stuff happening, no JADA.
God.
And
Slap in
Wait,
the
you got
face.
cheated
Yeah.
on?
Just a slap in the face.
Yeah, so there's a song on the record called "Hey Ben," which is out, and like the chorus it is like, "Hey Ben, I'm sorry, but I might have slept with your girlfriend. I was under the impression she was my girlfriend." And it basically what happened in real life was I like went from being the boyfriend to being the side
piece.
in a weird sense without
So
even
it's like
knowing
you-
it.
So your girl cheated on you with another girl. They got together.
No, a
and you
guy.
became
A guy.
Oh, damn.
Like in that in between.
I mean,
when-
either
when
one
you're
is
still
not
talking to
good.
someone. You're still talking to someone. It's not fully deaded.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure
There's no
it out.
closure.
Definitely no closure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I was like, why don't I write songs about this to create that closure? kind of.
What I'm always interested in when these kind of songs are created is the reaction from the person involved.
Oh, yeah.
Has she heard, or have you even informed her that this was going to be public or put on display?
No.
And you seem pretty happy about that.
No, I wasn't happy about it. I was super nervous about it. But like, that was actually my biggest anxiety going into it. Is like we hadn't spoken. We did, I did the whole like
happened,
no
yeah.
contact thing, right?
Okay.
I'm not gonna talk. And then for a while, I was like, do I give you a heads up about this music?
I think as a respect thing, like, hey, this is coming out.
But is it respect, or is it almost selfish to do that? Because what if you're in that position and you say, well, don't put it out?
Well, I mean, again, it depends how you phrase said situation. If the situation was that crazy, then I might pull back and not even acknowledge it. Some things are just like, okay, like we've all been through these things.
Yeah.
And you're speaking on a universal situation that has happened with, people that
sure.
family members, people that you work with. Everyone has been through those kind of situations. So I think, and I'm not an artist, so, I may not be speaking the same language as you speak, but I just believe that, hey, this is coming down the pipeline. Mm-hmm. Because I still respect you, because I want you to be aware that I'm talking about a situation I went through. And I have the
100%.
right
100%.
to say, hey, this is what I went through with this person.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking from your perspective. I'm talking about what I observed, what I went through, and what I learned from it. but I'm just letting
Yeah.
you know it's coming.
Oh, that's 100% what it is. I mean, you worded it really well. Like, it's like, hey, there's no real part of it where I'm trying to trash someone. I'm not saying any names, you know, but like,
Of
it's
course.
like, okay, cool. I have,
Like,
this
it's
is
like
this
if
is
you know,
experience
you
for
know.
me. Yeah, this is something that like I went through. The last thing I'm trying to do is like have parasocial people on the internet going and attacking this person. Like, I don't, that wasn't the point of it, right?
No,
it's just like,
not at all.
oh, this is something that like I needed to
Vent,
get
you
off
have to
my
get off
chest.
your
And,
chest.
you know,
Yeah.
we make art for whatever reason. And part of that is to, you know, get over things and get through things in your own life. So I thought a lot about the, like, do you give a heads up? It was really, I probably had like 20 conversations with different people about it. And ultimately it felt like, hey, it was almost too self-serving as a reason to like reach out for the first time to kind of say it. So I said, I'm just going to let it do. Yes, this person probably might hear it. And I don't know if I'll hear from them. I haven't. And I'll just let it be. And like, you know, it's ultimately not meant with any malice or any negative intent.
I mean,
It's just,
I think as long as it's that, then,
Yeah.
and there, like no names are mentioned,
For sure.
then it is what it is.
no, people want to.
How did the process of making this album affect you mentally, as far as like going through a breakup? And even though you haven't spoken, like, what did this do for you, like, creatively, to just finally get this out of you?
Man, it was crazy because I think most of the time I'm only writing stuff that's like traditionally I write stuff that's pretty like fun.
Yeah,
And this
very
was-
lighthearted, fun music.
Yeah, and this was very going down the like channel your emotions and feel things out. And I was doing it during quarantine for a large part.
wow.
I ended up being in LA with my buddy and like living at his house and writing a lot of this music together. So it was, you know, the world was weird and it was a bit of a different process. So I
So
think
it's probably even sounds sadder knowing that
Oh,
like you made
yeah.
it in isolation. And
no, I
not
made
there
I
are
made
people.
it I made it in isolation, knowing I was in the city that this person had just moved to, moved away from me, and there's so many like factors on top of it. But I think, you know, there's a bit of like relief I've been hoping for, where like it's finally out and you can kind of like completely end that part of your, you know, your like whatever you're holding on to in that life. And yeah, so luckily I get to do that.
Well,
pretty soon.
it definitely sounds like, you know, you went through a process, got through the process. You know, it's a life process that we were all going through, and I'm sure it was a little bit more taxing on you because you're creative and you're trying to get all these experiences out. So I hope, you know, when this album does come out, I hope people see that, and I hope people can, you know, relate certain experiences in their life, and you're
Yeah.
brave to put that shit on online. So got to give a round of applause for my guy Hoodie right here. man.
Hoodie,
thank you guys
thank
for
you so
having me,
much,
man.
bro.
I
Man,
appreciate
just being
it.
here
Let's not-
talking Knicks and
Let's not make it another 9 years before we kick it again, bro.
For sure.
I appreciate
There it is. There it is.
Thank you so much. When can we expect that everything to drop, or what's the sort of time?
The album comes out March 17th. Feel free to check it out if you're feeling down and going through a breakup, or otherwise.
Yeah, there's not gonna be a whole
Yeah.
lot of air horns on that one.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's like sad bops. You know what I mean? It bops, but it's
It'll be out when.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be looking forward to that. Hoodie. Kaz, you know how we do. What you got popping this weekend, man? Where you at? Where can we find you?
Man, just, you know, continue to find me on Points Bet Count it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Catch me on MSG. Catch me on the Masked Man Show on The Ringer. And the Wale Mania tickets are still on sale. We are almost sold out. Los Angeles. Can't wait to see y'all March 30th at the Novo, LA Live. So many incredible people will be rolling through for WrestleMania weekend. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to see y'all there. Get your tickets now. Hopefully it's not sold out by the time you hear this.
And Hoodie.
podcast.
Hoodie.
Do you know Wale is my like only rap, like legit rap feature that I have in my catalog, I feel like.
That's a good feature to have.
Yeah.
Are you going to be in LA on March 30th?
I might be actually.
You might be?
But I
Let's get
love him.
part
He's
two.
a
Let's
great
get part
dude,
two.
and I
That's
really
my
appreciate him for
best
doing
friend,
that.
man. Let's
Yeah,
get
he's the
part
man.
two.
Bro, let's make it happen.
Hoodie.
I'll see you there.
Socials. Where can they find you? I already know when the album's coming out, but
Yeah,
you know.
at Hoodie Island. Feel free. I'm very good at writing back to people. So if you watch this and you enjoyed our conversation about how mediocre Chris Rock is done recently, I'll love to hear from you.
You can find me on Rap Life Review. Find me on Twitter at lowkeyuhtn. Just a little quick announcement before we get out of here. Last week was my last show for Hip Hop R&B Throwback on Apple Music Hits. You can
hell of a
check
run,
out,
yo.
Hell of a run.
Hell of a run.
You can check out the past episodes on demand. Hopefully, I'm still with the Apple Music family as I do Rap Life Review every Monday, so you can check those out. But
Spicy takes on that Rap Life
spicy
review.
takes. So
I've heard some of
I
these
gotta up my
takes.
presence. I gotta up my presence. cousins. But yeah, so everyone that enjoyed the hip hop R&B throwback show for the last 2.5 years during the pandemic, I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys letting me bring you back down memory lane for the 90s and the 2000s. It was a great show. Shout out to DJ Juanito. You know, shout out to Brittany. Those are my two producers. Shout out to Simone. Shout out to, Reef, Michelle, Sarah. Shout out to the whole team. Thank you for that opportunity. But if you're looking for that show, it's still there. It's a playlist, but there's no host. So you can check out past shows on demand in Apple Music Hits. Just, click on Apple Music and you can find it. But thank you for the support. Just want to make sure that y'all know that y'all I keep getting questions of, well, aren't you? That's why show was done last Tuesday. Thank you for support. And this has been another episode of Say Less with KAZ, ROSY, me, our guy Hoodie right here, Jake, Madison, Benson, my guy. KAZ, take us home, baby. You know how it goes.
We do every time. Stay free, stay safe, and always say less.
And shouts to Bumble, of course, as always. And Road. I said it right?
Oh, Road Mics. Shout out Road.
Road
I
Mics.
appreciate that. All right, y'all.
See y'all
Catch you
next week.
Peace out.